Alright, we are on the draw with Rug Delver. We have a lot of blue cards in this hand. 3 cantrips, a counter, Vapor Snag, 2 snaps. We don't have lands, let alone islands, so we're gonna mulligan. That looked bad. This one looks great. The traverses are a little redundant, so we're almost going to 5 here. But we have Island Visions into Stomping Ground Goyf. We're on the draw, we get to scry. We don't want that. Our opponent says hi. We also say hi. And let's have a match. Polluted Delta and pass. Probably a control deck. We drew the Stomping Ground. That is a little unfortunate. I'm still just going to grab myself a basic island here. I don't think it changes much. My preferred lands on 2 are Island Stomping Ground. On 3, it's Island Stomping Ground Breeding Pool because it gives you blue, blue, green, green, red. And there aren't many decks against which you want double red. So we're still just going to get an island. Go with this Visions. See what we get. Don't really want a 5th land. We drew a Misty. So let's get rid of that Foothills. And Snapcaster is actually unlikely to be very good this game. So let's get rid of it too. We have a Serum Visions in our graveyard. But if we snap back Serum Visions, the Traverse gets worse. Yeah, I think the hand was good. I don't think we kept a bad hand. They're going with a Thought Scour, probably a Pseudo Mirror. There's a Mana Leak. Now our opponent has Mana Leak and Spell Snare up. Oh my lord. I do believe we just ran out the Goyf though. Let's get a basic forest. It's not a huge edge, but it is entirely possible our opponent is playing a Blood Moon strategy. I'd like to thin the deck while sequencing our land drops, and we have a boatload of lands here. So, yeah, we'll just walk into the Spell Snare. That should be fine. We can't really play around it anyways, so what are you gonna do? Land Sorcery Creature. Opponent is playing blue and black. And there's the red. We are hoping for... Hoots is at least somewhat unfortunate. I don't think we're going to... Well, we can't play around Mana Leak because we have to tap at least 1 land to play this Mandrills. I believe we do want to fetch again. Probably just get a basic island. It doesn't look like our opponent will be casting any Path to Exiles this game. Hopefully not in the match either. But I don't know if they want to sideboard those in along with a white source or 2. And I believe our best bet is just Hooting Mandrills against a Grixis stack. I think we can safely delve the Goyf because they'll probably put Hoots back in the bin. I may want to just tap 2 lands. Pretend we have a counter spell up. Want to get rid of these lands and the Goyf. I believe that's how we want to do it. Go to end step. Our opponent didn't try to counter it, so either our bluff worked or they don't have a counter. I believe delving like that is fine because if we need Traverse, Hoots has to hit the bin, and we have another land here that will be entering the graveyard shortly. Let's get on in there. Our opponent seems to be missing land drops. I don't know why it keeps highlighting the hold priority thing over there. That's weird. Let's get rid of that. We're going to lose our ability to notice if the opponent is talking to us. Huh. Can't shorten those anymore. Alright. Good enough. Maybe that's in preferences. We'll find out another time. We're just going to go to end step. Maybe they have snap shenanigans? Enter the snap shenanigans. Most likely a Thought Scour. Almost certainly a Thought Scour. There's not really anything else they can profitably target. Do we want to bolt the Snapcaster? I don't think so, but maybe. I'm probably going to want it to be dead relatively soon, because Bolt plus Snap blocking Hoots deals with our threat, and I'd like to minimize the ways that our opponent can deal with our threats. So I think we might be getting a Steam Vents and Lightning Bolting a certain Snapcaster Mage on the end step. Now it's not going to be in the end step. Excuse me. However, that's a very suspect attack. I imagine they have a Tassiger or something coming up. We're going to let that through. Oh, it's another Snapcaster Mage. Targeting a Serum Visions. That's pretty good. So I guess they're digging for their land drops. Well, every Snapcaster that targets a Serum Visions is a Snapcaster that's not targeting Terminate. So we're not going to be too upset. We are going to Fetch Shock and Bolt Snap. Not Snap Bolt. That's a little Blue Mage humor. Okay, so they're going to draw. They excuse me. They scry 2. Do they have a land yet? They don't. Let's do our thing. Now, we have the option to get a Steam Vents tapped. How likely is it that we're going to need the mana next turn? Pretty unlikely, because we could always shock if we need it, and I don't think we're going to need 5 mana. So let's just not take the extra damage. May as well save 2 life. Our life total is somewhat relevant. They're playing a Snapcaster Mage Lightning Bolt deck. Get rid of that. Although I guess them not having mana makes that somewhat a bad play. I like it before, I don't know if I like it now. Of course, there's also something to be said for bolting while they're tapped out. We're going to play that tapped because there's not really anything we can do. I'd much prefer for this mana leak to be hitting, say, a Tassiger than a Dispel if they main deck it, or a Counter Squall. So I'm not overly disappointed with Lightning bolting while they're tapped out. I don't think it was perfect. We're going to hope they don't have a counter here. We're really going to hope they don't have a counter. It's pretty likely that they have a counter. Unfortunately, we just got to make do with what we got. Their graveyard is shrinking, and those are some good cards to keep in it. They have 7 cards in hand. You guys think they don't have a counter? There's a snare. Now, I wonder if this is Delver or Control. That's the interesting thing. Untap real quick. So we don't have a creature in the bin yet. Hoots is still kicking. I think we scour here, because if we don't scour, we're probably just passing the turn. So scour could turn on a lot of things. We may as well get that done now, as opposed to waiting until their turn, drawing a creature or milling a creature, and then wasting 4 mana. We don't seem to have hit a creature, but we did hit a Serum Visions. Goyf. Do I want Bolt? I really don't think I want Bolt. Goyf is a 4/5, so at least it blocks Tassiger. I don't think it really contends with it. Do we want Thought Scour, though, for the milling ability? Because we have way more mana than we're likely to use. But this turn we play Goyf. We're probably going to hold up the Steam Vents. Next turn we're going to want to traverse out something. Maybe 2 somethings, but if we traverse twice, then we can't cast any green threats, which are the big ones that survive Bolt. I don't think we really want to tutor out any Delvers. So I don't think we're using both green mana to traverse. So it's probably traverse, cast Hooting Mandrills, or cast a Goyf. 2 mana left. I think we have room to draw this Scour. So I think I like it. We're gonna do that. Go to the end step. This is unfortunately going to drag out a little bit if they don't have the counter. If they do have the counter, we're just in a really bad spot, and the game won't be dragging out, because they will probably be killing us. Now, I may have tapped wrong here, because if they counter this Tarmogoyf, well, they didn't counter the Tarmogoyf. If they did counter the Tarmogoyf, we would have a creature in the bin. Traverse would be live. Are they bolting us? They're bolting us. Oh, geez. We might be dead, but they only have 1 red mana. Okay, that's why they're bolting us. They're trying to use their red efficiently. They probably have a bunch of bolts or things. Fatal Push is a bad sign. So like I was saying, if they were to have countered the Tarmogoyf, then we could have traversed because there would be a 4th card type. Now there is because creature is in the bin. So we would have had a 4th Tarmogoyf, or 4th card type. We could traverse and use our mana slightly more efficiently. As is, I'm just bluffing with the Steam Vents. So I don't know if the bluff value was as high as the potential traverse value. I think here we want to block the Snapcaster Mage. There's a pretty good chance they have the Lightning Bolt, but if they have it, we're dead to not blocking, so we're going to block. We would go down to 6, 2, and 4, take 3 to the face off of Bolt, and we're dead. Here's a Bolt. Targets Hoots, yup. So that was good on our part. I'm happy that I noticed that. So instead of being dead, we go to 5. Of course, we could have been dead with a Mandrills in play. I don't know how much value a post-mortem Hooting Mandrills has, though. Now we're in a bit of a catch-22, where our Hooting Mandrills cannot profitably enter combat with the Tasigur, but our Tarmogoyfs die to Fatal Push. I do believe we need to just go for the Tarmogoyfs. If we traverse out a Goyf, we're using green, green, blue. We have blue and Steam Vents up, which we probably won't be using. So once again, we're going to Thought Scour on our turn. It is an instant, but we can draw things we like. That wasn't. I was kind of hoping we'd mill a Tarfire to make Goyfs really good. There's 1 Snapcaster Mage left in the deck. I'm running 2. You may or may not know that from watching previous videos. We're going to traverse. Get a certain Luhergoyf. Oh geez, there's only 1 left in the deck. Okay, well eventually we will be getting a Hooting Mandrills. Are there actually 3 Goyfs in this graveyard? 1, 2, and 1 in exile? Yep, there he is. There he is. I don't know if we want to play the Scalding Tarn. We would go to 4 and then we're dead to Fatal Push. But if we play it, maybe they play around Mana Leak. If we don't play it, there's an extra card in our hand. I think we're going to just drop it. I think that's our best bet. I don't really want to activate that Scalding Tarn, though. Vendilion Click is very good here. There is a Bolt in our graveyard, so they're probably going to get rid of this Traverse so that we can't tutor up a Snapcaster Mage and interact with Click. That would be fantastic. I would also like to draw a Tarfire. Serum Visions is not Tarfire. Now we're in the sort of predicament where it's less likely that we die to Tasigur and more likely that we die to Vendilion Click, so I am going to fetch. Going down to 4 from 5 isn't super relevant on this board, I think. I'd rather have, I guess, green. We also shuffled the Traverse back in, so that's good. So unless our opponent is running something along the lines of Gut Shot, we aren't really dead to being at 4 as opposed to 5. We're going to Serum Visions here and hope that we draw something good. It's a Thought Scour bottom both of these. Now I think we Thought Scour here 4 mana up. It's entirely possible we hit what we need. Scour us. Goyf is still a 4/5, so we didn't mill Tarfire. We milled the Traverse that we just shuffled back in. There's another bolt. We're going to Scour again, hoping to hit. There are 2 Lightning Bolts in our graveyard. I don't believe any in Exile. No. So there are 2 Lightning Bolts. What I believe are 1 Snap. 1 Snap still? Yep, just 1 Snap in the bin. So we have 2 Lightning Bolts, 2 Tarfires, 1 Snapcaster Mage. That will get us out of this. Thought Scour us. I think I would rather have the second red than the third green. What do we got? It's a Serum Visions. We're still live to drawing Tarfires and Bolts with this. Drawing Snapcaster Mage and Traverse no longer save us. And I think we're better off using the Serum Visions than the Curiosity, because they can always block with Tasigur and do mean things. So we have a Hooting Mandrills. We're going to bottom both of these, because we're going to die very soon if we don't. Let's play this. Plenty of things in our graveyard. I still don't know if our opponent is on Delver or Control. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things delved. So, Tasigur can't kill us. Click alone won't do it. However, if they have any sort of burn, then we are dead. But we were dead to any sort of burn while we were still at 5, so it's not super relevant. They're not playing 1 damage burn spells. Snap Bolt's gonna do it. Before we die, Snap, push. They have a Lightning Bolt in their graveyard. What are they playing around? They're playing around us bolting the Vendilion Click, but they could do that by just attacking with the Vendilion Click, and then they would know they don't attack. I don't know why our opponent's playing it slow. Delver was on top. I guess we're gonna cast him. Not a lot going on here. I believe our opponent had us dead, but they just chose not to kill us. Playing Delver's not really a downside because there's something like a 98% chance, I'm just picking a random number here of course, that our opponent knew we were on Delver. Our deck looks a lot like Delver. I'm happy to not show them Curiosity though. I might not even keep that in, of course. So, we don't know if they're playing Delver. We do know they're playing Vendilion Click, so these burn spells don't look awful. We're on the play, that's relevant. Games 2 and 3 against Grixis get pretty grindy. So we're going to want Huntmasters. I don't know why I can't slide that. We're going to want the Mountain. Surgical seems pretty good because of Snapcaster Mages. Tasigur value. Blood Moon against Delver. I don't like it as much as against Control because Control is much greedier with its mana, things like Cryptic Command. Excuse me. It also has blue-black manland, which is named something that I can't remember. It's a 3/2 unblockable. So Blood Moon is much better against Control than it is Delver. Against Delver, I don't really like it on the draw. Fortunately, we're on the play. I might only bring in 2. I don't really want to have my hand clogged with them. I might put in the third. The third could get us killed against Delver, though. Dismember is excellent. Kills Tasigur. The thing that probably screwed us over that game was the Tasigur that stopped us from being able to attack profitably. I don't foresee any enchantments or artifacts. Pyroclasm is really bad if they're not running Delver or Pyromancer, so we're not going to bring that. And Engineered Explosives, let's assume they're playing Delver. Delver's at 1, Snap's at 2, Tasigur's at 6, Angler's at 7, Click is at 3. Engineered Explosives is not very likely to be good. We have a minute to cut 8 cards and consider whether or not we want this Blood Moon. Thought Scours are going to start leaving the deck. This is going to get very interactive. I think we'll even just cut all of them. Fast Mandrills doesn't seem to be the way we want to go. I might cut the Curiosity because they have basically all of the removal. Of course, I live by the saying of if we don't have a threat, we're losing anyways. So there's not a huge downside on Curiosity, but we're going to cut it for now while we think of stuff. We'll take out at least one Bolt because we don't know if there are a lot of targets. I think we want the 18th land here. Our curve went up. We have Blood Moon. Vapor Snag's good. We cut at least 5 blue cards so Shoal can go. And I think we just want to get rid of a Mana Leak, say. Yeah, I'm okay with that. We'll be on the play. We have 4 lands, which actually isn't bad in these grindy matchups, because you really want to hit your land drops and have mana up while you play your threats. This is a lot more relevant against, say, Jeskai, because then you can hit your land drops and play a threat while being able to answer something like a Nahiri. In this matchup, it's less good. We do have Dismember. Spell Snare is really good. I kind of want it. We're gonna get an island, then probably fetch out a forest. While also having Spell Snare up. Delver's gonna die almost immediately. I think we're just gonna flood. Okay. We have answers to their problematic stuff. We're just gonna slam a Delver. They are running bolts and pushes, so it's entirely possible that this Delver just dies immediately. But I think I can live with that. I hope I can live with that. It's not a great hand, but I don't know if I'd say it's a bad hand. Drawing Tarmogoyf makes me extremely happy. We get it in under Spell Snare and Mana Leak. Now they need Terminate or Push. Bolt's not going to do it. Let's send the turn to them. Goyf was pretty much the best draw we could have there. So the magic gods were kind. It is Delver. I'm glad that I have 5 Bolt effects. I kind of want another. Ooh. We cannot play Hooting Mandrills and hold up Spell Snare / Dismember. What we can do is Dismember the Delver and then play the Mandrills, which seems kind of awful. I like getting Mandrills in under Mana Leak, though, because them having just 1 mana up means they can't really stop us. And then next turn, if they play a Tasigur to slow us down, we can interact with it. However, we will be making our Goyf vulnerable to Lightning Bolt if we do that. So I think we're actually better off holding up Snare and Dismember than playing a Mandrills and making Goyf boltable. There would be... Oh no, yeah, because we're getting rid of the creature if we do that. So we'll just play the Steam Vents tapped, pass the turn to them, and we can do shenanigans on their end step. They have a Fatal Push, which means Goyf is going away. Dying to Bolt becomes a lot less relevant with Fatal Push around. Maybe I should have considered that. I don't know, though. There's the Fatal Push. Let's get rid of that window. We no longer care. I can't Spell Snare it, so it's going to resolve. The opponent gets in, and we basically just don't do anything with the rest of that turn. We want to play Mandrills. Do we want to pay 2 life to have these 2 spells up? I don't think so. I think I would rather just tap 2, delve the whole thing. If they play a Mana Leak, we'll Spell Snare it, and then we consider shocking to hold up Dismember. As is, I think we're pretty safe to delve the whole bin. Traverse is a consideration. We're probably going to have creature in the bin anyways if that comes up. Looks like this is a mana leak, possibly a remand. It's going to be interacted with. Basic Swamp. Mana leak hits the stack, and it will very shortly be leaving the stack. One way or another. Excuse me. By hook or by crook, that mana leak will not be there for long. I think I'd rather be a little more conservative here, because if we shock, they don't play a delve threat, and then they hit us, we're at 10, and we're probably not going to want to dismember the aberration. Them playing a delve threat makes me a little happier to shock. Of course, we didn't know that ahead of time, and if we shock and dismember, we go to 9, Delver hits us, we're at 6, our opponent stays at 15, so yeah, that's a little dangerous. Another thing we could do is bounce the Angler and dismember the aberration. That might be the play. If we do that, Aberration's dead, of course. They're actually really close to being able to cast the Angler. They have 4 mana, 1 dude in the graveyard is 5. If they play a fetch, it's 5 mana. 2 dudes in the graveyard, Angler comes right back if they have a fetch land. So I don't like that play very much. I don't hate the play where we dismember Angler and bounce Aberration. I think I might want to dismember before combat, in case they have Dispel. But in that case, we probably want to bounce the Angler anyways. So we're just going to get in here, test the water, see if they're willing to block. They are. We are going to pay 2 life, and we will once again kill that. We're going to use the green. Not a lot of use for the green right now. We're at 8. That's low. Angler's dead. They take 4. 3 cheers for trample. And I believe we want to Vapor Snag now, because I don't want them to mana leak or remand or anything this Vapor Snag. We also have the option of waiting until their upkeep, but that enables, say, a Cryptic command if they have it, so we're going to go fast. May as well keep that fetch in hand. Here's a bolt to the face. If they have a couple more of those, we are dead. And we also kind of should pay attention to the clock. Go to our turn. We don't have anything to do. Hopefully they don't notice Xmage just skipping through. Delver comes back. Snap Bolt is really bad. For us, of course. For them, it's absolutely delightful. So we only drew 1 land over the course of its turn 10, so this is probably our 4th land, or 4th draw step. We drew another, so we drew 3 non-lands, 2 lands. We are actually dead to our opponent having pretty much anything. If Delver transforms, we're dead. So I guess that means Bolt is totally irrelevant. I could have played the Scalding Tarn, actually. Might have been a good idea. It transforms. That's going to be GG's. Cannot block that. Technically, we shouldn't be telling our opponent that we're dead, but it's pretty likely that our opponent attacks with their unblockable creatures, so I don't really hate the GG's prior to attacks. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. We did kind of get wrecked that match, but I think we played pretty well. Maybe that keep is what did us in. I don't know. I think it was at least possible that the keep was good. Could have gone well for us. Obviously, as you saw, it could have gone badly for us. I would have to think about it more. And let's go into another match, shall we?